What's going on, everybody? As you can see, we are in the middle of our Black History Month, and we want to really talk about the issue of how do we really balance ourselves in this day and time after all we've dealt with. So, with that being said, let's begin to buckle our seatbelts, you know, prepare for this ride because we're going to talk about some real serious things. And guess what? Yeah, the experience starts about right now.
Let the music tell your body how to move and feel. It can serve as meditation, so no need to pop a pill. Satisfies your heart's desires and allows your mind to heal through the sturdy. Music tell your body how to move and how to feel. It can serve as meditation, so no need to pop the pill. Satisfies your heart's desires and allows your mind to heal through the sturdy.
Well, I'm here to have this wonderful conversation with you. Unfortunately, today, my brother Craig won't be with us. I'm asking that we all keep him in prayer, as he deals with some difficult times. As we all know, death is always lurking, and a lot of us have lost friends and loved ones. So we pray that, each of you that has, that you guys would be strengthened and that God's peace would be upon you. So let's again pray for my brother Craig, all right, as he goes through this difficult time. So here we are. And today, I want to talk about the balance. How do we regain our equilibrium? A lot of people say, man, listen, all the things that Black people went through years ago, that's over with. Like, we in a new time now. We doing new things. And they really don't understand that as we deal with the issues of our time and as we deal with the issues of times going past, that through our DNA, traumas are passed down. And we must say that there has been no other culture that has endured what we have endured. None. There's no other culture that has bear the brunt of trauma and adversity the way we have. And the thing is, people think that it's just a thing where it just disappears and we all good now. And the thing is, that's not the case, because there is a thing in science called epigenetics. Epigenetics says that you pass down traumas through your very DNA. And the next generation begins to experience and learn how to move with those traumas. So epigenetically, we've been dealing with the trauma for over 500 years almost. And for some reason, it seems like we just can't find our balance. We just can't find our center. So the question is, how do we find our center? And I really decided to talk about this because we're here in Black History Month. And, a lot of people won't really tell the real history. They won't talk about how we weren't all brought over from Africa, but some of us were indigenous to this land right here. So, there are a lot of things, a lot of buried history about us, buried stories about us that we will never know unless we research. And the only way that we can really begin to deal with these things is if we have a balance. Balance is very essential, because without a balance, when you're too far to the left or too far to the right, then you can no longer walk the path that was really meant for you, because now you're being influenced by the weight of the imbalance. How many of y'all have really been influenced by the weight of imbalance before? You know, you've dealt with friends who were pulling you one way when you know you really needed to go another way, but because there were so many of them saying, "Now, come on, do it this way. Let's go here. Let's indulge in this." You know, you gave into the peer pressure. It was because there was an imbalance of influence at the moment. So because of the weight of the imbalance, you went that direction. So now we have to understand that the first thing we have to do is gain balance so that we can really begin to handle and talk about all we've been through and how we can minimize the effects of what we've been through. Because many don't even understand that, you know, you go to church and you're showing forth that imbalance. You're in political arenas and you're showing forth that imbalance. Some of you are doctors and lawyers and have wonderful jobs, and yet and still late at nights when you're by yourself, you have to deal with the imbalance of power in your life. It's not that you're powerless, because we all have power. We all have the power to do anything that we want. But the problem is we don't have the leverage, and leverage deals with balance. So in order for us to regain leverage, we have to balance ourselves. See, when we do that, when we bring equilibrium to a situation, then we can judge a situation correctly. And so here we are in the midst of going through the end of an era, because maybe I don't know it or not, but we are at the place where we are at the end of an era here. And a lot of people can't deal with this shift. It's hard. It's hard on a lot of people, dealing with so much, dealing with mandates and dealing with vaccine passes and dealing with all of this other stuff. And, you know, we're dealing with police brutality. We're dealing with so much. And we ask ourselves, how do we gain a balance just in this time we're in? How? Especially when there seems to be nobody really championing, that's the word, championing our cause. It seems like there's nobody leading in the front anymore. At one point, it seemed like Al Sharpton had it, and he was doing it. At one point, it was a Jesse Jackson, and then we had Malcolm X, and we had Martin Luther King. You know, all these strong black men, all these strong black kings and queens that fought for us. You know, Sojourner Truth. You know, many haven't heard the story of Sojourner Truth, and many have not understood some of Mrs. Shakur, Afeni Shakur. You know, these people who have gone before us, you know, and paved the way for us, because they didn't understand what they were up against. Just like today, we don't understand what we're up against. So the first thing that we have to do is gain balance. The way that we gain balance is by, number one, assessing what's around us. Assessing what's around us. What's happening? What's happening around us? Why are people doing what they're doing? Why are these policies being passed? Why are these things being done? And how do they affect us as Black and brown people? Maybe you don't know, but our whole entire lives, we have been psychologized. From the cradle to the grave, we will be psychologized by a government, by companies and big business that seeks to capitalize on us and consume They want to make money. They want to consume our artistic value. They want to consume us in so many different ways. And the thing is that when you're consuming me, that means that you leave nothing left of me. So now I have to limit your access to me by me assessing what's happening around me. Once I begin to realize, like, yo, okay, so police brutality is still happening, and it's at an all-time high. Oh, okay, and on this side of me, Dad, you're forcing vaccines and experimenting on a people, on a race of people first, before you really try it on everybody else. Before you even really took it to trial in the lab with the animals, you wanted to try it on us because in your eyes you saw us as animals. Okay, I see you on that side, I see you on this side. So let me look ahead of me. Maybe something better will come of this. And when you look ahead, you see that the plan that is being enacted, the plan is to take away our power, to take away our rights, to take away our voice. And then when you look behind you and you look over the history, you see how history was changed. You see how not only was history changed, but there was history hidden. Things that you never knew about who you were and what your people were and how your people operated and navigated and matriculated through their time. Because in so many areas we were demonized. So now that you have this wonderful panorama, you can begin to balance things out and say, you know what? Now the first thing I need to do, now that I've accessed everything around me and know what's going on around me, I need to know what's going on within me. Because when you balance the outward with the inward, then you can have perspective. How do these things affect me? How do they help me? How? What is it that's going on in me? And is it due to something that's outside of me? Am I being affected by the things that's happening in the world? Or am I being affected by the way that I view the things that are happening in the world? Which means that is something that's coming from inward out. Well, these are the questions that will lead you into really understanding more and more about who you are and how to navigate in these crazy times. The first thing I want you to know is that while you're investigating inwardly, you'll come up against some very ugly things sometimes, things that you really didn't want to deal with or things you didn't want to see, because you feel like, I didn't do that. I didn't put that there. I didn't put that there. This is something that was put in me. This is something that was that I adapted to. And though that may be the case, we still have to deal with that in us. And we have to begin to find a way to exercise that out of us. Hey, it's just like when the priest in the movies goes and he exercises a demon. There's some demons that we have to exercise within ourselves. Those low self-esteems, those bouts with am I enough? Those battles with am I talented enough to carry it out? When we face those demons, when we face those monsters, what happens is we begin to build strength, because while you're facing them, if you're being guided right, you'll begin to realize that, Dad, even after all I've been through in life, I'm still here. Even when they said that I wasn't smart enough, overcame, I learned, I adapted. Not only did I learn and adapt, but I began to create. These things are very, very telling about who you are. You have to begin to see all the good that you are, even in what you had considered bad. What you considered hard times shaped you into the champion that you are. What you considered to be crazy situations, they formed a wonderful human being who may be flawed, but yet still wonderful. And sometimes when you really think about it, when you look at a piece of art, the greatest work of that piece of art is when it's flawed. At least to the artist, it's flawed. To you, you would never know because you don't know the intent of the artist. Maybe that was the artist's intention. Maybe this piece of art, and I'm talking about you, maybe this piece of art really isn't flawed. Maybe this piece of artwork that you are is just unique unto itself. Maybe that's where you find your value. I'm unique. There's nobody like me. Nobody can do what I do. Nobody has my fingerprint. Nobody can think the way I think. Nobody can process the way I process. Nobody can see the perspectives that I have. So, number one, we have balance. Number two, we have to investigate. We have to investigate our feelings, investigate our history, investigate what's going on in us emotionally. And when we do that, you start to get a little ability to stand a little firmer where you are, because you're starting to understand that no, I am not my parents' fears. No, I am not my teacher's assessment of who I am. No, I'm not. I am more than that. I am greater than that. And when you begin to realize that your uniqueness begins to tell of your greatness, then you'll begin to really appreciate yourself for who you are. Of course, we have to make sure that while we're doing this investigation, that this investigation is tempered in love. Has to be. If we don't temper this investigation in love, we're going to come out of this with a low self-esteem. We're going to come out of this being impatient with ourselves. We're going to come out of this being angry with ourselves for letting this happen to us, not realizing that what has happened to you has been pivotal in shaping who you became. So we have balance. And we have investigation of your feelings and investigation of your emotions and the inward working, your inner conversation. Yeah, we have to do that. See, when you begin to realize what's happening around you and then what's happening in you, then you can look back and say, so what came before? What were those things that shaped who I am? And what were those things that happened that may have been passed down through my lineage? Like, why do I like what I like? Why do I like what I like? Why do I enjoy what I enjoy? These are great questions that we have to ask. So again, investigation. You know, you have to realize that number one, we melanated folk, we are amazing folk. We come from great stock. We come from a line of people who were able to bear the brunt of abuse. We come from a people that were able to bear the brunt of misuse. But we also come from a line of people that were kings, queens, and warriors, doctors and healers and scientists. All of that comes out of us. All of that comes out of us. And when we begin to realize that, then we can really begin to say, you know, if this is in my lineage, if this is in my past, then I've got to find a way to rekindle that genius. I have to find a way to rekindle that wonderful thought process of being more, doing more, living at the top of my game. I've got to find a way to rekindle that. And it's in me to do it. It's not just in us to go through our traumas, but it's also in us to go through our triumphs. A lot of times we focus so much on our traumas that we forget our triumphs. We forget our past victories. And listen, y'all, we're talking about we are a resilient people. We are a strong people. We are an intelligent people. There is nobody on the planet more intelligent than us. Nobody. Nobody. When you begin to see that no one more than African American has faced overwhelming odds when it comes to discrimination and its destructive consequences, the effects of its ugly hand has been seen all throughout American history. Think about it. Think about all that we've seen, good and bad. The richest men on the planet, Mansa Musa, I believe his name was, richest man ever. That's us. One who ruled his kingdom, one who fought wars. He was a great warrior as well. If all of that is a part of us, we have to understand that we never lost that. We never lost that. It's still there in us. It's still there. We have to pull it to the surface now. We have to bring it out to the surface now. And in order to do that, it takes focus. It takes focus. It means that now we have to focus on those things that we want rather than the things that we do not want. A lot of times we see our activists out there. I remember I went to a National Action Network situation, and we were protesting. And in the protest, we were saying that I gotta remember what we saying. Y'all gotta, I'm here by myself, so I gotta figure it out. But we were saying, no justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. And we kept chanting no justice, kept chanting no peace. And guess what happened? We manifested no justice and no peace. Because our focus was on the wrong thing. We began to speak not what we wanted, but we were speaking what we were fighting against. And we began to focus on what we were fighting against, and we produced more of what we were fighting against. No justice, no peace. And here we are, having no justice and having no peace. So we have to focus on what it is that we want rather than what we do not want. The chant should be peace and justice for us and all. Peace in our minds, peace in our emotions, peace in our homes, peace in our communities. And yeah, we also should be saying justice in our communities, justice in our homes, justice in our government. In a government that's seeking to take our rights away, there should be somebody strong enough to say, no, I desire justice. I desire peace. I desire the pursuit of happiness. It's my right. And it's not a right that you gave me. It was a right I was born with. This is one of my freedoms that I was born with. We have to learn how to work our freedoms, y'all. We got to learn how to work our freedoms. When we learn how to work our freedoms, then it'll help us handle our responsibilities. The problem is we feel like all we have are responsibilities. And then we view those responsibilities as traps. We perceive those responsibilities as things that are holding us back instead of things that are there to release the power of a free man. the power of a free woman, the power of a free people, the power of a free community. Until we begin to work in that strength, until we begin to work in that power, we will always see what we don't want to see, because we'll be giving our power of manifestation to the things that we do not want to see, because we have wrong understandings concerning what we see. So we got to make up our minds to really begin to take some time to focus on what we want. Also, focus on the good, which means be grateful. Be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for all the things that you have. Be grateful for the life that you have. Be grateful for the children that you have. Be grateful for the experiences that you have had and are having. These experiences, they are not out of your control. They are in your control. Everything that's happening, everything that's going on, every situation. Listen, never feel like you're out of control. You just have to make sure that you're not trying to control everything outside of you, but you're controlling everything in you. I'm controlling my mindset. I'm controlling my thought process. I'm controlling how I view things, the lens that I look through. I'm controlling how I allow things to affect me. When you begin to do that, then you will begin to see that you can overcome anything, because nothing is out of your control. Nothing. Understand this. When you start doing these things, then you begin to snatch back the power, and you begin to live in a balanced life. You begin to stabilize yourself. You're no longer tossed to and fro by every wind of doctrine and policy. But now you're standing on your own 2 feet, understanding that, nah, man, I'm in control of this situation. If I don't like what I'm seeing, then I have to see something different. See it in your mind's eye first. See it in your mind's eye first. I want you to take a mental photograph and see what it is that you want, what it is that you desire. Because listen, the greatest tool that we'll ever have will be the balance that we walk in, because it is the balance that we walk in that will allow us to overcome. You hear my dog? He's giving me an amen over there. The balance will allow us to overcome. Hold on 1 second, y'all.
Bustin' loose. I said, Shala, come on, y'all say. I said, Shala, get it, y'all say. I said, Shala, come on, y'all say. I said, Shala, get it, y'all say. Give me the red.
If you want to create a drop, release your new song with a pop. Do you need an exciting intro for your video? Promote your business, products, or shows? Contact us for customized digital video packages. For more details, email us at tkbsds.org@gmail.com.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry about that. My dog had a little fit. Somebody came to the door. But as I was saying to you, I want you to realize that when we begin to have these conversations with ourselves, when we really begin to understand the inner workings and focus, understand focus. What you focus on is what you will manifest. What you focus on is what you will bring to pass. What you focus on is what you will have more of. You have to realize that there is nothing out of your control. It's in your control, but you have to learn how to have control. A lot of us are saying, well, God is in control, and of course God is in control, but God is in control through us. Understand, He is in control through us. If the divine lives in us, and in Him we live, move, and have our being, and He lives in us, then you have to understand that now the responsibility is on you to manifest what you desire. It's on you. It's on you. Somebody just touch yourself on your chest and say, it's on me now. It's on me. I can't run from the responsibility. I can't run from the challenge. And a lot of times what we see is that we're running from the challenge. We're running from the responsibility because we're scared of the challenge. But no, it's on me now. My father did his work. My mother did her work. My grandmother and my grandfather and my great-grandfather and my ancestors, they did their work. Now it's on me. What am I bringing to the table? What am I manifesting? What am I doing? How am I showing my power? Because one thing you have to realize is that no matter what goes on, you're never not in power. You always have power. The question is, what are you manifesting with that power? See, you got to realize that challenges come to sharpen us for the responsibilities that we must bear. Somebody say that with me. Challenges come to sharpen me for the responsibilities that I must bear. Come on, one more time. Challenges come to sharpen me for the responsibilities that I must bear. When you realize that, I'm telling you, you're already snatching back the control from those who seek to manipulate you. You're already snatching back the control from those who seek to destroy you. Challenges come to sharpen me for the responsibilities that I must bear. And sometimes it gets hard. Sometimes it gets hard. The thing is, you can't be afraid of the hard work. You can't be afraid of the hard work, y'all. The hard work is what makes us. The hard work is what brings the greatness out of us. The hard work. Sometimes it's hard to bear. I hear you, Rita. I told someone that, and they said, no, that's wrong. Nah, listen, without those challenges, there is no demand on your greatness. Challenge puts a demand on your greatness. Challenge puts a demand on your genius. Challenge puts a demand on your ability to become. Let me tell you, yes, I love my producer. Come on, Sean, to come through. Put a demand on your greatness. And in order to put a demand on your greatness, you have to constantly find things that challenge you. You have to constantly find things that challenge you so that you can become sharpened, so that you can bear the responsibility. Come on, y'all. Listen, you got to realize that you will never in your lifetime will you outgrow warfare. You just simply got to learn how to fight. You got to learn how to fight. You got to learn how to fight. And sometimes the greatest way for you to fight is through your ability to surrender to your purpose. That means you're going to be challenged, because a lot of us don't want to walk in our purpose, because our purpose means that we're going to have to discipline ourselves in areas that we like having fun in. We like doing things in. We like living kind of crazy sometimes. I like being the life of the party. I like being that off the chain dude sometimes. I like being that crazy girl sometimes. But no. Now you're coming to a point where you have to begin to surrender to your purpose more than surrendering to your pleasure. And you'll realize that at a certain point, the two will meet up. Your purpose can become your pleasure. But until you learn how to discipline yourself, a lot of times your purpose and your pleasure will fight each other. You have to learn how to reconcile the two. The two will meet when you learn how to reconcile them. They're at war with each other right now because they don't see the agreement between each other. It's your job to show your purpose and your pleasure the points of agreement. It's your job. You can't run from it. You can't hide from it. You've got to do what you have been called to do. You've got to move in what you have been called to move in. Especially in this time. We are in the end of the era, y'all. I'm telling y'all, we are in the end of an era. I know everybody's talking about Jesus is coming back and all of this and get your house and all the but we've been hearing that since the 1800s to 1700s. What I'm trying to tell you is this. You're so focused on Jesus coming back that you did not listen to what Jesus said. For those that are of a Christian persuasion, those that read sacred text, Jesus said that, lo, we are coming into the end of the age. He never said the end of the world. He said the end of an age. We're walking into a new era. And in this era, the God that they serve is technology. The God that they serve is technology. They've moved on from love. But you have to recapture your understanding of who God is. God is love. And I'm not going to give up love for technology. And that's exactly what has happened. They're presenting to us the world of the metaverse, when it's a dead world. Even the word meta, the word meta means dead, I believe, in Greek. It means dead. And they're trying to introduce us to this dead world where there is no connection, where there is no ability to really connect on a real level. We're giving up reality for virtual reality, because we don't like what we see, because we feel like we can control in virtual reality better than we can control what's here in our own reality. Not realizing that everything that's going on in your reality is something that you have shaped. You shaped it. You gave birth to it. You did that. I was about to say it. You did that. And because you did it, because you've allowed it to come forth, you have to understand that you have the power. When you own what's going on in your life, then you have to realize that if I own it, then I have the ability to change it because it's mine. Listen, we're gonna take one more commercial break while I deal with this little dog issue, and we're gonna make things happen. All right, so take us away. we're back, and we were talking about the virtual reality and the real reality. People, they're running to the metaverse and they're running to virtual reality because it is there where they feel like they can have more control. They can get to choose what it is that they actually want for their lives, not realizing that every day in your real reality, you choose what's in your life. You choose who is in your life and what's in your life. You choose to work the job you work. You choose to live the life that you live. You choose. Your decisions, your choices have brought you to where you are. And when you can own that, when you can own the responsibility of choice, then you can begin to maneuver your real life like you would a virtual life. The thing is, I don't want to live in a dead universe. The meta universe is a dead universe. I want to live in the here and the now. I want to live with purpose here and now. Yeah, I do. And I know some of you are like, but yo, man, do you see all this stuff that's going on? I do. And some of you are not happy. Some of us have lost. Listen, I've lost 2 friends. This year alone, I've lost 15 friends. And they've transitioned. And I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it felt. Had to deal with it. The thing is, I had to choose how I would deal with it. Was I going to drink and sex my way to healing? Or was I going to learn how to deal with my grief? Man, do you see how the economy is going? Do you see what the government is doing? Do you see what's happening with this police brutality? Do you see all the things that's going on in the world? Look at Canada, man. Look how they're over there and they're changing the laws and the rules to arrest those truckers because they're fighting for their freedoms, just like we're fighting for our freedoms over here. Look at the media blackouts all over the world where they're not showing us all the protests that are happening all over the world. So it leaves us here feeling hopeless. That's not the life I want to live. So I try to escape into the meta universe. No. I challenge you to escape into your royal responsibility. Escape into your royal responsibility. Learn how to make the right choices. Listen, discontent is the catalyst for change. We're never going to change anything if we're content in what we're going through. It is our royal responsibility to make the choices and to make the decisions that will affect our homes and our communities forward. I want there to be forward change. I want there to be unity and harmony in my community. The way it's going to happen ain't in the metaverse. It's going to happen right here in reality. Most people don't want to deal with reality. Most people try to escape reality, not realizing that they are the ones who shape their reality. Stand up. Work yourself. Work your challenge. Your challenge is a part of who you are. So work yourself. Work the gift that is in you. Work the power that is in you. Work what is in you. In us is the ability to love. Choose to love the right things. Choose to apply your divine self on the right things. That's what love is. Love is the divinity that works in you. That's God in you, love. Wherever you apply your love, wherever you focus your love, wherever you put your stamp of love on, is where that's the area that's going to begin to flourish. If all you can do is watch porn and get off on porn, that's going to be your love, then that's all you're going to manifest. You're going to manifest fleeting moments of pleasure. You're going to manifest fleeting moments of happiness, fleeting moments of a feel-good experience. Some of you, all you can do is just drink and drink and drink and drink until you get to a place where you start to feel a little happy. But even that is a momentary thing. We want to move you from happiness to actually having joy. So when what's happening around me isn't fueling my happiness, I still have the ability to be content because I understand that I have a plan. I'm going to work a plan that's going to line up with my responsibility. I'm going to work a plan that's going to lead me into my purpose. I'm going to work a plan that's going to cause me to manifest my purpose. I'm going to work a plan that's going to cause my purpose to be seen clearly. I'm going to do that. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. See, even in your anger, learn to find the good in that, because your anger is the birthplace for solutions. Nobody ever solves things that are not problems. You solve problems. Learn to be your life's problem solver. Learn to make those choices that'll lead you into a plain path of purpose. Purposeful living. Purposeful living. Hooking up with the right people. Right relationships is a part of that. Hooking up with the right people. Making the right decisions with those said people. Now is the time for us to get back to community. Listen, hook up with 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of your friends. Buy some property. Look into buying some property so that you can make that passive income. So that you won't have to be chained down by a government that will try to take away your job because you won't do what they say when they're trying to kill you, when they're trying to eliminate you, when they're trying to replace you. Guys, everything that we need is in our hands. Everything that we need, we are the operant power. Somebody say, I am the power. I am the power. I am the power. A lot of times we say, I have power. No, I am the power. Some of y'all say, I'm going to tell the truth. No, I am the truth. I am the truth. I'm just speaking the truth. No, I am the truth that speaks. I am the power. I am the power. Anything you put after I am, you become. So why not choose what you become more carefully? Why don't you choose what you become and really give it some thought more carefully? Everything that you are is because you're living out a manifestation from your mouth. Some people have been going around for a long time saying, I'm broke. Saying for a long time, I'm stupid. I'm ugly. I'm this. And you've produced ugly situations. You've produced broken things in your life. You've produced ugly things in your life. Change your confession. Because those things are coming about because you're saying them. So say something different. Do something different. And when you do, you won't have to worry about falling and tipping because the weight is too heavy on the left, or falling and tipping because the weight is too heavy on the right, or falling and tipping because the weight is too heavy behind me, or falling and tipping and falling frontwards because it's just too much. No, you begin to balance all of that because you're walking in your purpose. When you are walking in your purpose, when you're walking in what you were called to do, what you were meant to do, what happens is, guess what? There is an atmosphere that automatically comes with support. So when you feel yourself leaning to the left, it'll push you back. When you feel yourself leaning to the right, it'll push you back. Your purpose comes with support. When you're walking in your purpose, you will see the support that comes with it. When you see life really fighting really hard against you, you have to really begin to question, am I walking in my purpose? Maybe my life it is a mirror showing me that, hey, you're going the wrong way. You're doing things the wrong way. You maybe if I do it this way. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm trying my best. See, when you begin to realize, like, yo, it's easier if I do it this way. It makes more sense if I do it this way. I don't know where we got the idea that, and I always hear it in church, we have this idea that the harder something is, that God is in it. And that's a bunch of baloney. That's a bunch of bullcrap. God didn't make you for hardness. We endure hardness as good soldiers, but hardness was not our purpose. When you're flowing in love, when you're flowing in God, when you're flowing in love, when you're flowing in God, when you're flowing in love, when you're flowing in, hey, what's going on, Thaddeus? Greetings, man. Greetings, King. When you're flowing in purpose, when you're flowing in that arena, when you're flowing like that, things happen easily for you because you're on your road. You're not on somebody else's road. You're on your road. You're on your path. And on your path and on your road, guess what? There's support. On your path and on your road, guess what? There's direction. On your path and on your road, guess what? There is clarity. We don't have clarity because most of us ain't on our roads. We on somebody else's road. We're living somebody else's dream. We're allowing someone else's narrative to control our lives. And that is just not how it's supposed to be. I just got to, my pastor told me that if I just keep coming to church 5 days out the week, tell your pastor you got a life. Tell your pastor, I see you on Sunday. I see you Sunday. I might give you a Tuesday for choir rehearsal or Bible study, one of them. I see you. But I have a life. And I have a life that I must live. And in order for me to live this life, I've got to do it responsibly. I have to take up the responsibilities that are in my lane. My boss keeps telling me that I have to work, and if I don't, find a new job. In fact, become an entrepreneur. Learn a craft. Learn a trade. Do something that will get you out of having to follow someone else's narrative for your life. Because you can't be happy doing that. I can't be happy with you giving me liberties. Because I was not born for liberty. I was born free. We're living in a country whose motto is give me liberty or give me death. I don't want your liberty. Liberty means that somebody else is controlling what you get. Freedom says that I control what I get. Come on, producer. Tap into your power. You are the operant power. And until we realize this, we will stay stuck. We will stay stagnant because we have not come to the awareness and the realization that we are the operant power. We have the ability to move our lives in the directions that we desire it to go. It is on us. It is on me. It's on you. It's on you. And when you have balance, guess what? When you have balance for real and things start happening like they should, guess what happened? You won't let nobody interrupt that process. You'll protect your purpose. You'll protect your purpose because you love the balance that you're in. There is a health that comes from balance. You can't be healthy until you're balanced. You can't be healthy until you have balanced the nuances. And you can't let nobody come in and tell you how to run your life. You may give me some advice. I'll listen to advice. but it doesn't mean I have to follow the advice. All this to say, when we really see how far we've come, we weren't slaves. Slavery was only an avatar we had to put on for a second. We were kings. We are kings. We are queens. We are warriors. We are scientists. We are builders. We are royalty, and we have royal responsibilities. Handle yourself like that. Know that. Know that. Lift up your heads, O ye gates. Be ye lifted up, you everlasting doors, and the King of glory will come in. Come on now. Who is the King of glory? The Lord God strong and mighty. I'll say this and I'll close out. And I might get crucified for this by a lot of pastors and stuff, but I don't care, because I'm going to say it because it's the truth. When we talk about the Lord, understand you're not talking about God. If we say that God is the king of our lives, kings and lords are two different things. Kings send lords out to occupy territory. Kings send lords out to colonize territory. So he's the king of kings. Whether you look upward or whether you look inward, God is the king. But you are the landlord of this life. You are the Lord. You are the landlords of this life. And you have to make decisions to make sure that this vessel, this property that you live in, this body that possesses a soul, this property has to be taken care of. It has to be taken care of. And guess what? Because you are the one who has been given control over this certain territory by decree of the king, you have a responsibility that you must live out for your life. Royal responsibilities. And in order to be a good manager of your life, there must be fair and balanced decision making. There must be fair with yourself. Don't beat yourself up, but don't give yourself pity parties either. There must be fair and balanced. Hey man, I'm sure, but hopefully they'll realize through maturity that this is the truth. Because so many of us desire someone to tell us what to do, instead of taking the time to work out the decision-making process. We're afraid of working. We're afraid of hard work. We're afraid of hard decisions. We're afraid of hard decisions. But I'm here to tell you, don't be afraid of the hard decision. Don't be afraid of the hard choice. Don't be afraid of the challenges that come. The challenges come to sharpen you for your responsibilities. So my final thought is this: to thine own self be true. But in order to be true to yourself, you have to learn who you are. Go back, look over your history. Study your history. Study African spirituality. Study where we came from. What were we doing before we adopted this European thought process, this European theology, this European politics. What were we doing? How were we living? How were we moving before we adopted these European thoughts in science and European thoughts in the medical area? What were they doing back then that caused us to live so that we can combat what they're doing to us now that's causing us to die? Those are my words for the day. So listen, I love you all. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for being a part of this show. And hey, Thaddeus said you can't know where you're going if you don't know where you came from. And that's know where you come from. Know your lineage. Know your pedigree. Understand it. And embrace it. If we were kings, if my great-grandfather was a king, then I still am a king. I am a king because I have an inheritance. I have an inheritance. You have an inheritance. Kings and queens, y'all have an inheritance. And guess what? All we got to do is tap into our power. Don't run from our responsibilities. Run to your purpose. Protect your purpose. Move on purpose. Move on purpose. So I love you guys. Y'all have a good night. All right. Lynette Serrano, we are royalty. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We are royalty. So, hey, y'all have a wonderful night.
Kenny Brooks, Jazz on the Pike, Illusion. 403 West Baltimore Pike, Clifton Heights, PA 19018. Reservations are recommended. Hosted by Andrea M. Jackson.
Let the music tell your body how to move and feel. It can serve as medication.